Good morning, good afternoon if you are from the East Coast. I know that a few of you have been waiting patiently in the background. Thank you so much. If you can hear me, don't be shy. I have to mute myself on the second stream. So I wanted to make sure the audio is working. Well, hello and welcome to my channel. If we're meeting for the very first time, my name is Holly Lee. I have been your career coach for quite some time now. If you are truly new, don't forget to tell me where you're watching from. Why are you here? Why are you listening to me? I appreciate your time. But you can show me some love by hitting the like, thumbs up right in the YouTube channel or subscribe to my channel. When you do that, you're really helping me pump more content for you who want to come on live stream and talking to themselves, right? I've been doing this for 5 years and I really love doing this as a hobby. And I'm still doing it as a hobby because I really do enjoy giving back to the community members like yourself, okay? So I know that a couple of you guys are watching right now. I'm looking forward into answering all of your questions afterward. So please do leave it in the live chat on the column. Today, I wanted to chat with you guys a little bit about your hiring manager call. That is right, as stated in my thumbnail, because many of you guys are actually following my, I want to say footprint, following my steps through weekly live stream. And also many of you are in my VIP coaching program. By the way, I should probably mention that, excuse me, I do run a coaching program. It's called the VIP program. If you're interested, the link is right there, or you can reach out to me via LinkedIn. Okay. So let's quickly talk about the type of questions that the hiring manager will be asking you and what can you do to be more prepared. And lastly, what type of questions are a little bit more different during the recession. Yes, we are in a recession, and how you could sound a little bit different from the, the 30, 50, hundreds of people that the hiring managers are interviewing for the exact same role. Okay. So I made a couple sticky note here. Just like when you guys are interviewing, by the way, I don't encourage anybody to cheat or look at their questions or their star answers. I will not encourage that. If you guys could, let me just show, I have really bad handwriting, so don't judge me. I don't know if you can, I guess, kind of see this. But anyway, I basically put my notes in bullet points. So if I put, for example, number one is setting expectation, and then I'll talk about it. So the way that you guys are preparing for your hiring manager call is to not try to look through your entire answer because your eyes are moving and the listener can tell that you're cheating and you don't want to cheat, right? So the first thing is asking the hiring managers, what is your expectation for the role? Okay. I know a lot of the things that I'm sharing with you guys today could be outside of your comfort zone. Don't be scared because it's important for you to learn who this person is that you'll end up working for, right? So you need to know what is the hiring manager, your future boss, expectation for the role. I can almost guarantee you, because I've been in recruiting for over 25 years, I started in the staffing industry many, many moons ago, way even before Google.com or Yahoo was even there. I think I just kind of revealed my age there for a second. But it is good because you wanted to know if the job description is similar to what the hiring manager is telling you. And just listening from the hiring manager's tone, he or she could oftentimes express responsibility of the scope of the role that is not listed on the job description. Okay. So what is your expectation for the role? Number two, What is the career potential for this person? I like to ask that because this is just working with a lot of you amazing people who've came to me as your coach. I know that many people just wanted to accept the first offer. It doesn't even matter. So many of you guys are accepting, for instance, a lot of you guys are senior leaders or even VPs, and you're willing to take a IC position or a mid-level junior role. I get it. When you have to pay the bill, you have to pay the bill, but be careful because if you just accept a position without seeking to understand more of what you're bringing on the table, number one, they're probably going to pay you less, right? But your scope of what you're doing for the position, what makes you think is any different from paying you, let's just say 100,000 more of what you can bring on the table, right? So hopefully that makes sense to you because I'm seeing so many of you guys that where you are in a leadership capacity or an architect or a principal, program management, in a financial background, operational, how manufacturing even, and you're so afraid that you'll never get a job offer again because everyone's fighting for the same job, where you just wanted to accept the first thing and start from literally the ground like a new grad. Okay, I'm not saying don't accept the position. What I'm trying to tell you is when you are interviewing for a role or when someone is reaching, right, I'm speaking through experiences as well. I've had amazing company in the beautiful Arizona that have reached out to me for a position where they're offering entry level salary with a very big title, asking if I'm in the market. And I like to entertain employer just to also make sure that my interview skills is still pretty polished, right? I wanted to preach what I'm coaching to see if I can make it through and pass my own interview like I should, like all coaches should, right? So even I myself will know how to pull back because if you don't, here's the thing, guys, employers will look at you very differently when they're asking, but you're a director, why are you taking an entry level role or mid level position? They know right off the bat that this is probably going to be a temporarily fix for you, and you're going to jump ship to the next best employer who's going to pay you a lot more with a bigger title, right? So leave your comment in a live chat. Let me know if you're going through similar situation where you're very excited, a great company reach out to you, but the position is actually lower than what you're currently doing as far as scope and scale or position title. Okay. So number two is what is the career potential for the role? Number three, challenges in getting the position filled. Mr. or Mrs. Hiring Managers, what are some of the challenges of you trying to look for a fit for this role? I like asking that questions because that's telling me, does the hiring manager have the self-awareness of what he or she is looking for? Why does it take so long to get the position filled? Because right now, if you think you're really good in what you do, guess what? So does other people. You got all these people from startup for all the industry, all of them. The FANG, the MATANG, the non-MATANG, basically everyone's going through the same role. So there's a massive amount of highly qualified candidate. I'm curious to know why is the position open if the hiring manager says it's been open for 3 months, 6 months, a year. To me, that would be a red flag. So I would like to know to understand and ask why, right? Because a lot of the times you don't want to waste your time. You don't want to waste your time if you could hear that, one of the ultimate reason is the hiring manager don't know what they're looking for. That's a red flag. Do you want to work for somebody like that? I guess if you have to pay the bill, you have to do what you have to do. But again, that's a temporary fixed. Okay. So I think you guys know where I'm going. Okay. So number three is what are the challenges you are facing, Mr. or Mrs. Hiring Manager, in getting this position filled or finding the right candidate? What is your preferred qualified candidate? Can you describe this fit for me? I'm always interested to know. Okay. Number four, why is the role even open? Right? You know, keep in mind, guys, everything that I'm sharing with you, it's not in a specific order. So take it as a grain of salt. I will not, I repeat, I will not advise you guys to ask. I have a total of 9 questions here. I will not advise you to ask a whole bunch of questions to any interviewer, I will pick the top 3 or 4. Let's just say that you and the interviewer, hiring manager or not, clicked very well and you have some time to kill in the end, then sure, right? You wanted to burn some midnight oil. You don't want to just sit there in dead silence, then sure, you always want to have a lot of questions so that there's no awkward silence during your interview process. Okay. So number 4 is, why is the role open? Just kind of sit back, take a deep breath, give the hiring manager an opportunity to respond to you. And even so, you can ask the recruiter. If you missed my last live stream from 2 weeks ago, I asked similar questions with the recruiter. My apologies. I haven't had the time to go back in and put timestamp because I've actually been on summer break with my son. He's back actually tomorrow, starting school here in Arizona. So I haven't had the time to go back and put timestamp in the last several live stream, but my goal is to show up for you guys rather than not showing up. So if I don't have time to do so, just note it's going to take me some time, but it will happen. Okay. So now let's move forward to the more fun stuff. The remainder. Let's see, remainder 5 questions right here. Hello, Raphael. How are you, Raphael? Thank you for being brave. Does this explicitly imply that I have to reapply for a new role? I will answer your questions afterwards. If you have any questions, feel free to drop off. Let me go with the remainder 5 questions for you, okay? Number 5, how big is your organization? Depending on your role, you could be a technical professional or non-tech, individual contributor, or in a leadership role. It's really important to highlight how big is the organization you'll be supporting, right? That is your internal customer base. I love getting that questions from candidates, and as an interviewer, that's one of the top questions that I ask. It's letting me know how large my scope really is and what am I really getting myself into to be more prepared. Okay. Number 6 is, what is your leadership style? I know. How many of you are actually comfortable in asking the hiring manager that questions? I do. What is your leadership style also translate to, how do you like to be communicated? What is your communication style? Every leader is drastically very, very different. It is rare to meet one that says, I have an open door policy, or I don't know what people say these days because I haven't been in an interview spectrum in such a long time. But for me personally, my leadership style is I wanted to show up and appear at ease. I don't want to show up as somebody's boss or somebody's leader. I want to show up as I'm working for you as my staff. So that means that I wanted to provide you with a level of comfort that you can come to me and I will be here to support you. So my leadership style is supportive for my team. So if you're asking that questions, if the hiring manager give you an answer, something along that line, that's probably something where they are going to set you up to be successful of your tenure with the company. Okay. So what is your leadership or communication style? Number 7, talking about number 6. Here we're on number 7 now. What is the culture like within your team or the company, right? The big picture. A lot of the time we hear about things in the social media, depending on the company. There's a lot of biases. The bigger company, the bigger footprint as far as social media, either toxicity or being very spoiled, depending on the companies. I'm not bashing anybody. I'm just stating the obvious. So it's very good. Either it is a startup or a multi-billion-dollar organization. It's good for you to get a feel what the culture means in the eyes of your hiring manager. All right. Number 8. What is the longest tenure of your team? I like that question. Generally, when I ask that question, either they like me or they hate me. But at the very least, when you're being honest during the interview process, for me personally, every coaches are very different. Every interviewers are very different. For me, it's allowing me to know that the candidate, you are actually very selective in the hiring managers and company that you want to work for. And those are the people that I want on my team. So I actually appreciate that. So letting me know how long an employee stays with the company, what I'm really asking is, what is the attrition rate for your team? Okay, so that's letting me know if there's any red flag and what am I really getting myself into. All right, lastly, there's a lot of mid-size and startup that's opening that has open opportunities right now. I see a lot of startup that is booming, that's doing really well. There's also a lot of mid-sized company that's hiring. So with that in mind, the number one question, I save the best for last, is how profitable, how, I can't talk, guys. This is my first cup of coffee. Forgive me. How profitable is the business? Okay. You have to ask that question, especially when they are a private, equity owned organization. You want to know if the company is making money. Now, before you ask that question, you all know that you should already been doing all your homework on our famous google.com, right? So a lot of the time when you go to employer's website, if you go into news or media, you can see all the investors, if they're in Series A, Series B fundings, pre-IPO, so on and so forth. Do your homework first. And a lot of the time what you see online changes from the reality because it's outdated. So I would want to know where they are right now, because the last thing you want to do is you don't want to see, for instance, 5 or 10 million Series A funding. Well, that's like a year ago or 2 years ago. They could be broke and you may just have your job for another month to 3 months and be laid off. And you left the comfort of your full-time job for this. You don't want to end up like that. Okay. So there you have it. That is my top 9 questions to ask the hiring manager. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to leave it in the comment section. And now I am ready to answer some Q&A for you. Okay, so let's look at our friend here. Hang on one second. By the way, I try to send out a newsletter like I do an hour prior to the live stream, but unfortunately, I am not sure what is going on. It will not send. So thank you for the folks who are watching. A little shy, but watching. All right. Raphael says, I had a phone interview for a NDE, is it Network Development Engineer, L4 role on last month, which I passed, but the recruiter informed me that the position has already been filled up and he would redirect my application. Does this explicitly imply that I have to reapply for a new role? I would pause for a second. I would not reapply for a new role with the exact same level and position, right? I would ask the recruiter if you see a different, if you see open position in a different team for the same level, similar position as an NDE, then I would ask the recruiter, if you could apply to different position. Most likely, yes, you can. Okay, yes, you can. Unless you fail the interview, then you would have to take a pause. All right, so I would seek to understand first. Let me go ahead and remove that comment. All right, so there's been a lot of changes with the job market. Even though I see that there are a lot of job openings still in the market, the unemployment rate hasn't really dropped a whole lot or gained a whole lot. It's still pretty much the same. There are talks out there that some of the organizations are still laying off. I believe I saw that Microsoft is on the way of laying off another 9,000. Don't quote me on that. I remember reading through an article on LinkedIn, on google.com. So do your own research. Usually when I do a monthly market update, I'll show a lot of data, exactly where the resources are coming from. So if I were you, I'm going to share, hey, Denise, I will share the same thing that I have shared every single time coming on live with you guys. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. And I think the safest employer to go is actually the mid-sized employer, not the maintain company, because I just feel like a lot of the big employers are really, here's the thing. I'm trying to be myself, but not really, because I can get in trouble by being too honest and being who I am. So I think a lot of employers are still just focusing on one thing and one thing only. That's everything around AI, which there's nothing wrong with that. Every time when I think about AI, I have this mixed emotions about it because I think AI is just a brand of marketing because it's been data scientists and being able to read patterns and recognition has been around for so long. It just out of nowhere it went a little bit crazy. I think because of that, it also affect a lot of the smaller company that's forcing them to close shop. So I don't think that is fair. It's one of those where whomever screamed the loudest, and then when that happened, they closed shops. So I think there's a lot of effects because of that. But in theory, don't just look at a lot of big employers. I know that many of you guys are still coming to me for Amazon. It's just if you guys have noticed for the last year, I've tried very hard to not just talk about Amazon process, if you can see in a lot of my thumbnails, because as a career coach, my job selfishly is to help you find true happiness into letting the right employer pay and roll. Don't care where. Okay. If your hopes and dream is to work for Amazon, great. But just note that my goal is to let you land a job offer with whatever company you chose to. So keep that in mind. Don't just look at the big companies, look at the mid-sized employer as well, and also startup that has potential to go IPO. All right. That's why if you recall my number 9 last questions of asking the hiring manager is how profitable, oh, I can't talk, how profitable is your organization or your company? That's how you know if there's potential for the company to go public. All right. How are you, Denise? It's been a long time. I am interviewing with AWS on Monday, speaking to the hiring manager. I did work at AWS 2012, 2018. Yeah, I remember that. I remember. And I'm hoping to get back in. What do you think they would be really looking at? I think that we call it boomerang, returning for AWS. As far as Amazon as a mothership of all mothership, AWS is probably one of the most steady as far as organization within the Amazon umbrella, right? What they have looked for back then and what they look for now hasn't really changed, to be honest, right? They're still looking for the same thing, but as any boomerang candidates, they're looking for growth. They, of course, when you come back to re-interview, they're going to look at your previous performance review as a given. That's step one for anyone who's returning to Amazon specifically. Number two is they're looking at the growth of the last level you were there. And when you're returning, are you interviewing for the same level or a level up, right? If I were you, Denise, I would really, because you are coming back, which means you're looking for longevity, I will really ask for potential for growth. It is very hard to get promoted with big organization because they can't just promote half the team, right? Even if you have top performers, they only pick, 1 or 2 out of 10. Even so, that's really pushing it. So I would really set the right expectations so that you get to know more about your hiring managers and exactly what you're getting into. Since you're an ex-Amazonian for what, 5 years, 5 years, 6 years or so in the past, you know that once you get in, the position is going to change rapidly. You never do the same thing over and like every week. And oftentimes, as you know, Denise, it's like working for a new company every month because everything is constantly changing in the Amazon world. Amazon or AWS, they're all the same. Okay. So I think that you should really consider before talking to the hiring manager on Monday, write down the pros and cons the last time you were there. What worked well for you? Why did you leave? Because I think the hiring manager is going to ask you that, right? Especially at Amazon, they love to dive deep. And coming back, letting the hiring manager reassure that you're not going anywhere. What do you want to gain that you didn't gain the first round that you were around? And why are you interested in this position, or is it the same team or a different team? Okay. So those are the things that I would have done differently, Denise. Does that answer your question? All right. Okay. So as promised, now that I am back on full blown, summer break is coming to an end for me. I will go back in there and put timestamp in the last several live stream. It is dreadful for me, guys, and I'm being very honest with you because I do not enjoy rewatching my live stream. I don't do that. I don't like doing that, but I have to do that because if I do that, my video editor will know what pieces of content I want and what pieces I don't want. Um, and because I care about all of my engagement, the type of questions that you ask, I want to go back and see if I miss anything from you guys. Okay. So if you are new to my channel, don't forget to click on my link, which is right here. This is my biggest business impact during my time with Amazon Consumer, Heartline to be specific. You can go to my website. It's under free download. So everything that is free is on there. That is my favorite template. If you go to my YouTube channel, in my Amazon questions and answer, there are 8 free templates. Everything's free, by the way. There's no catch. But if you download that one specifically, you will land in my on my email list. Sounds fancy, but really not. Once a week or when I come live, I have free coaching session. That is the only time you will hear from me so that you will know that I'm live. Okay? Thank you, Denise, and thank you for your support on the World Wide Web social media. I will see you all next Thursday, same time. Okay? Bye, guys.